Hi, my name is Veronica Lee, and I work as an intuitive, and I specifically work with an energy we call the Akashic Records. Now, many people have different ideas about what the Akashic Records are, and for me, I used to be able to describe it based on a sentence or two that I had learned from the place that I had learned how to access the records, right? And in time, I started to have a harder time describing it because it became more part of an experience that was indescribable. As well, I found that the information that I received in this realm was very loving, was very profound, and quite evolved. And I was excited about sharing this information. When I started to look at venues, I found a place that I could go and speak, and I wanted to title my talk, or at least, put the description as, Veronica channeling information from the Akashic Records. And my mother challenged me on that. Now, she didn't challenge me because she thought it was anything strange about channeling. In fact, I was raised in this household where she was a metaphysician and read books on Seth Speaks and such. So this has been, part of our livelihood. But what she reminded me of is my divinity. She says, basically, we're all channels. And it took me a while to really integrate that, partly because I did see a difference and experience a difference between the information that was coming to me through these realms that was so loving and so profound, and my everyday self, which was a little bit more limited, right? And what I recognized is that it somehow made me feel more important, that my message was more worthy, and that somehow people might listen to me if I said this information was channeled, right? It gave me some kind of authority. Over the years of working as an intuitive, I still access people's Akashic Records, but what I recognize is that in order to reach this heightened state of consciousness, I don't need to say any particular prayer or invoke anything in particular that makes me then get into the records, that I simply can just be in that space, right? That I've assimilated and become part of this higher state of consciousness. Now, if you are interested in channeling, wonderful. And if you are a channel, great. What I offer is this idea that we are all channels in some way, and what we are channeling is really a matter of degree, let's say. And this isn't about hierarchy, it's just understanding how many degrees of separation are we from our knowing of our source, right? The farther we are from remembering that we are source, then the more human and maybe lower realm choices we might be making, which is perfectly fine because we are human. And at the same time, rather than going into a particular state, getting this information, shutting the door when we're complete and going back to being human, I invite you to perhaps integrate this information, integrate this state of being, and recognize that you can carry that divinity within you as love all the time, or at least much of the time. So my information that I'm bringing today, is it channeled, is it me, or is it one and the same? It's really to invite you to experience the difference between being a channel and being human, and where and how you can start to integrate the two so that you can operate out of this higher state of consciousness more often. Information is information. It is simply coming through us, and it's forming, right? It's information. What we choose to do with it is when we make it matter, right? When we turn it from something that's forming into something that has been formed, right? So if you choose to bring forth this information and make it matter in your life, you become that matter, then it doesn't have to be separated any longer. So it's an invitation to allow your integrated self to come through a little bit more empowered in the world, that you can bring forth the channel that you are into this world without having to necessarily say that it was channeled by some other entity or realm or being other than yourself, because really we are all love. And the more we align with love, the less we need to separate.